All right, welcome back to Mind and Magic. Today I'd like to talk about something I haven't talked about in a while, omens. So let's get into it. So I was going through my inbox and I found a message from Laura here who wanted to ask something in regards to synchronicity. I said, ask away. And she says the synchronicity is in regards to the song All I Want to Do by Sheryl Crow. I first heard the song in April of this year, but although since I've heard it, I now hear it everywhere I go. Why is that? Typically, when people come across the same thing repeating over and over and over again in their lives, such as somebody seeing the numbers 1111 on every clock they look at, or in this case, hearing a song everywhere they go, it's often the subconscious trying to give you a message, trying to impart an idea to you that you're just not getting. These are called omens, which can sound scary, drumming up ideas of the Damien Antichrist from the Omen movies. But in reality, omens really aren't that scary. It's simply the subconscious trying to tell you something, which it has no real way of doing other than to inject things into your reality over and over and over until you get it. Or it's just a glitch in the matrix, a bug in the program, so to speak. Either way, you're left sitting there wondering what the hell is going on. The subconscious is our link to the divine, which creates and runs this reality underneath everything. So when things keep popping up over and over and over again into our reality, that is its way in trying to get our attention and draw it to whatever it is it's trying to communicate with us. Now, sometimes omens are quite easy to figure out. Some of them couldn't be more obvious what they're trying to convey. Other times, it's not so simple. And we're wondering, what can it mean? What can it mean? While it keeps continuing to happen because we haven't acknowledged what it means yet. And if this is happening to you, I would suggest meditating on it, pondering on it very deeply, without expecting an answer, and then letting it go to allow for the answer to pop into your brain. Meditation is like magic for the mind. Just as you were to cast a spell and then have to forget about you doing the magic for it to manifest, meditation is dwelling on something for a while and then getting your mind off of it so that the answers can be given to you, which often just pop right into your mind. And every one of us knows how this works. We've all experienced it. Anytime that you've forgotten something and you try real hard to remember what it is, but the more you try to remember, the harder it is to remember, and you can't quite get it, and so you give up, and after you've let go, that's when it pops into your head, and you suddenly remember now. That's what it's like. That's what meditation will do when you don't know the answer to something, and you meditate on it, and then you let it go, then the answers will come. That's how it works. Laura asked, could you do a tarot reading on it? You could. And by that I mean you could. I do not do readings for clients anymore, neither tarot nor astrology, for many reasons. One, I don't want to open the floodgates to that and have everybody clamoring for a reading. Two, payment processors frown on it, and you could get labeled high risk and get kicked off of platforms for it. So I'm currently not doing any readings for clients, or anyone for that matter other than myself. Maybe that'll change in the future. Who knows? But you certainly could do a reading on it. In fact, divination is one of the methods to help solve what the subconscious is laying down and trying to communicate to you. I would certainly examine the lyrics of the song, especially any sections that you've heard playing. I feel that any songs that you hear playing over and over and over, no matter where you go, that the message is probably embedded within that song. And only you are going to know what it is when you hear it. Which brings me to the third reason I don't do readings. Symbolism may mean something different to me than it does to you. Now, there is universal symbolism, but there's also subjective symbolism. And what something means to one person doesn't necessarily carry over to the next. And when the subconscious is trying to get your attention, it's going to use your subset of symbolism as opposed to somebody else's. So even if I were to interpret someone else's omens, it may still be wrong because their symbolism doesn't match my own. Some of you may recall the story of my better half who kept having birds fly in front of her car. And there's at least one that needed to be cleaned out of her grill. That still happens. Not nearly as often as it used to, but occasionally one will still fly in front of her car. And I'm talking directly in front of. They just like to fly across the street real low, about grill or windshield height. Always a near miss, except for the one that hit. And we've never figured it out. She's asking me, I don't know what that means. It's your omen. It doesn't happen to anyone but her and whoever's with her in the vehicle. I don't have that issue. I don't have birds swooping in front of my vehicle. The subconscious will sometimes do some pretty strange things to get our attention. And unfortunately, the stranger it is, the more difficult it is to interpret for the most part. And meditation and divination can help in this regard to get to the actual meaning of the omen, which I admittedly have not done for the birds because it's not my omen. Trying to figure out your partner's subconscious mind, I really didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. But if that were happening to me over and over again, I would have meditated on it a long time ago. Broke out some tarot, what have you. Or another thing you could do is sigil magic, since sigils interface directly with the subconscious and can help reprogram the subconscious. Because what if what you're seeing over and over again is just a glitch in the matrix, a bug in the manifestation of reality? If we are to take the Hermetic principles at face value as law, the first one, the principle of mentalism, stating that all is mind, that everything is a mental construct, then these little oddities of reality of things repeating over and over again may just very well be a mental bug, a glitch in the program. And then what do? Well, then you cancel it with sigil magic. You write out your intention that you no longer hear Sheryl Crow songs wherever you go, or you no longer see the number 1111 every time you look at a clock, whatever it is. For if it's just a bug in the program, you just want to reprogram and get rid of the bug. But if it does mean something, you can also create a sigil to have the meaning revealed to you in a more clear, concise, and non-harmful way. Because if an omen is trying to warn you about something, you don't want to say, just give it to me directly so that it hits you with the very thing it's trying to warn you about, or similar catastrophe. So don't forget to include binding down any harm that may come through unintended consequences of not binding down that which we do not intend. Our intention statement, which we will then sigilize into a sigil to charge, should only include our intentions. And then we tack on at the end what we do not intend and make clear that it should exclude that. Not binding down this unwanted action is one of the more common points where people inadvertently harm themselves and get into trouble with magic. Typically, I'll just use a blanket statement of, and may it harm no one and bless all involved, unless I need it to be different or more specific than that. And when we turn our intention into a sigil and then charge that sigil, we're getting that instruction directly into the subconscious. So we're sending a message back to the subconscious saying that we couldn't quite understand what it is they're trying to let us know by presenting us another way of putting it, a different approach, something a bit clearer for us to understand. And that's how you deal with omens. But there is one more thing that you can do, and that is to simply acknowledge it. Say, oh, thank you, when you see it again, and maybe it will stop. You should probably be doing this anyway if you do figure out what it means. Because like magic, sometimes the subconscious can get stuck in loops, either by flaw or by design, where it thinks it hasn't fulfilled the request yet. And so like a few people on this channel, I know Mary Ann is one of them, the woman who wrote in about seeing orange balls everywhere she went and didn't go because they would show up at her place. And that can happen from time to time, but that typically goes away once you accept the manifestation, thank the subconscious, and receive it. The subconscious keeps trying to fulfill the request but its fulfillment isn't being accepted. It's like, hey, you asked for this, but now you're not accepting it. I'm going to keep trying to give it to you until you do accept it. It's like, you still want this, right? You still want this orange ball, don't you? And if not, if you don't pick me up, if you don't accept it, then the subconscious is like, well, okay, well, I'll try a different variation and see if that's what you like. The maxim of careful what you wish for certainly applies. But it's sort of the same with omens. It's either you're not receptive to the message it's trying to convey to you, or it's a glitch in the matrix that needs a nudge. Whereas thanking and acknowledging the divine for it might be enough to get it to stop. And if not, well, then you have a number of other things that you can try that we have just gone over in this video. I want to thank you for joining me, and if you enjoyed this video, consider joining us on Patreon, where we are about 3 months ahead of the general public on YouTube. Visit mindandmagick.com for more Mind and Magic, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
The Magic Show.